On October 7th, my daughter, who's not here, she's in Miami, her husband's a rabbi, they are shluchim of the Lubavitcher Rebbe. By the way, this morning Donald Trump went to the Lubavitcher Rebbe's grave. Everyone saw that? That was pretty... my daughter was in Ashkelon, and bombs falling, and one of our dearest friends, who was one of Israel's most senior commanders, and I want to remember him today, Colonel Roy Levy, who was the commander of Egoz. He was murdered that day. We met him in 2014 because he had sustained a terrible injury. I can't believe we lost him. The fighting on October 7th was so savage. I was there in the kibbutzim a week later. The stench of death was irrepressible. And today we have a soldier who actually fought. And to introduce him, I want to ask my very dear friend, Sam Friedman. Where are you, Sam Friedman? To please introduce Stav, our brave, heroic soldier.
Stav Cohen is a dedicated and a courageous soldier who reported for duty on October 7th, as soon as the attacks began. Over the course of 145 days, he fought in Gaza to free hostages and dismantle Hamas. Having lost close friends both on the battlefield and at the Nova Music Festival, Stav continued to serve with immense personal sacrifice. Despite being injured in Gaza in 2014, and recognized as a disabled veteran, his will to fight remains unwavering. Stav embodies the spirit of a true lion, fighting for Israel's security and for our existence. He flew in from Israel just for this, before he reports back to duty in just a few weeks. I'm honored to introduce Commander Stav Cohen.
Why are we all here? We gather tonight in times that the very foundations of our lives as the Jewish nation and allies have been shaken, nearly collapsed. That jolt is not new to our foundations, nor those who took the shot. Just as Kohelet once said, what has been will be again. What has been done will be done again. There is nothing new under the sun. Today, as 3,000 years ago, we're being attacked. And our very existence is in danger. No one will fight this fight for us. And that storm won't pass on its own. As we're engaged in war in 7 different fronts, who all seek to destroy our Jewish state, a new generation is called upon. That new generation is not called upon to restore peace in the Middle East simply because we never had it. That new generation is called upon to be brave enough to make peace possible. That new generation is not reserved for the young ones. It is reserved for all those who seek peace, yet realize that in order to have peace, in order to have light, you must first dispel darkness. It is reserved for all those who value life. Those who value life are right here, paying respect to the victims and fallen soldiers of October 7th. Those who not value life are right there, if you haven't noticed. And on that note, let me quote a Lebanese journalist named Miriam Salah as she mourned on the death of the murderous terrorist Hassan Nasrallah on live air. She said, and I quote, "Today I hereby declare that I, as a mother, wish that God will take my children and bring him back." Ladies and gentlemen, may I thank you for the profound honor of having me in this powerful day. Sir Rabbi, thank you so much. Gabriel. You are the Am Yisrael's ambassadors. My name is Stav Cohen. I'm a grandson to a Holocaust survivor from Auschwitz, son of a 1973 Yom Kippur War veteran, and myself, an IDF elite unit reservist. I'm a legal intern, CEO of 2 nonprofit NGOs supporting Holocaust survivors and people with autism. And of course, I'm an advocacy activist or a truth spreader, just like any other person here. We're all supporters of the truth, of the light, of Am Yisrael. You know, a lot of people thanked me for coming here to New York, leaving behind a beloved girlfriend and family. They thanked me for coming to give a speech. But I gotta be honest with you guys, I never came here to give anyone anything. I came here during war to meet my brothers and sisters. I came here to meet my people fighting our war. At the international arena, no less. I came here to share my point of view on October 7th from the battlefield. My friends, on October 7th, a dear friend of mine named Omri Ram was dancing in the Nova Festival. He celebrated life. Omri was a true friend of mine. Back in high school, Omri was my savior. When I barely had friends, when I felt invisible, Omri saw me. Omri was murdered by Hamas terrorists. Immediately after he died, 2 of our friends named Tzur and Aviad, who was with him, they had a choice: run for their lives or stay to die. They decided to run, but not before they took Omri's body on their shoulders. They were too slow. They were too slow. Hundreds of terrorists kept coming while shooting anywhere and anyone, yet they refused to leave Omri behind. They got murdered as well. It will be my honor if we could say their names. Omri Ram on 3. 1, 2. Omri Ram. Aviad Halevi on 3. 1, 2. Aviad Halevi. Tzur Saidi on 3. 1, 2. Tzur Saidi. On October 7th, Ilan Moshe Yaakov. Let God hear that name. Let God hear that name. Ilan Moshe Yaakov was dancing at the Nova Festival as well. As thousands of rockets are flying over his head, Ilan had a choice: run for his life or stay with his brothers and sisters to die. You know what he did? He took out his phone, just like that, filmed himself, and he said, and I quote, "Israel, I love you, in spite of everything, in spite of all the missiles and sirens. There is no place like Israel. We will never, ever surrender," he said. "We won't give up on our independence, nor our lives." Ilan Moshe Yaakov on 3-1-2. On October 7th, a brave young soldier named Tomer Achimas made it first to the front gate of Kibbutz Nirim. There the terrorists spared no lives, and Tomer and his two comrades knew that. They stood, 3 soldiers versus dozens of terrorists. They stood bravely. They stood against all odds. Tomer and his 2 comrades got captured into Gaza's tunnels. It was only after 54 days that his worried family learned that he actually died in that battle on October 7th. And only afterwards, his body has been kidnapped. So we buried some sand tainted with his blood. His father, who I love deeply, Moshe, his father had the most heart-breaking wish. He wished, "Let me bury my son." Over 9 months later, the IDF rescued his body, the wish came true, and there you have it, a 20-year-old, 2 funerals. The horrors did not end on October 7th. It is still going on. Just last Tuesday, the entire state of Israel had to seek shelter. That's 10 million people. 10 million Jews, Christians, Muslims, Druze. We all had to run for safety as Iran, the head of the terror octopus, fired over 180 ballistic missiles on all of our hospitals, schools, assisted living facilities, literally any place and any person in Israel. They targeted the elderly just as much as the young. They targeted the men just as much as the women, the babies as much as the elderly, the citizen as much as the soldiers. Prior to that attack, 2 Palestinians, on the very same day, 2 Palestinian terrorists started shooting everywhere and anyone in Jaffa near Tel Aviv. A young mother, listen to this, a young mother to a 9-month-old baby was nearby when the shooting started. Her name is Inbar. When the bullets started whistling and flying all over the place, seeking to end lives, the young mother had a choice. Try and run for her life or protect her 9-month-old baby. The young mother chose and paid with her life. The baby survived. We're gonna say Inbar, the hero young mother, on 3. 1, 2, Inbar, the hero young mother. The reason that I'm here tonight, my beloved brothers and sisters, is as simple as it's crucial. I came to New York on 4 different flights journey, which lasted nearly 30 hours trip, mostly self-founded, to tell you this story. On January 2024, I was already 3 months into the war. I lost count on how many terrorists tried to kill me, on how many times I almost got shot, or even when was the last time I had a decent meal or a good night's sleep. I have turned into a war machine. One night, we went on an undercover sensitive mission in a place that the IDF hasn't been in for a while. We went after this senior terrorist who had valuable information. We moved quietly as cats, as if each of each and every one of us were the shadow of the next warrior. One thing led to another. Shots were fired. The senior wanted terrorist got hit from a bullet. I could see this guy bleeding in about 100 feet away from me. And I kept getting massive fire from other terrorists. I didn't want to risk my life, especially not for a terrorist. But I did it anyway. We got to the terrorist under fire, we dragged them to safety. Then we realized that we don't have gloves. And he's bleeding heavily, we can get infected. We hesitated under fire, wondered what we should do. You know, there is a known quote in Hebrew. It goes, Hakol katuv ve'arashut netuna, which basically means that the future is already written to God, yet the freedom to choose is granted to us. So we chose in what was already written to God. We treated that son of a bitch because that's what the IDF soldiers do. We value life. And I'm not happy about it. But tell you what, we don't act according to our personal willness, but by morality and IDF values that we sworn to act by. As Martin Luther King once said, you cannot dispel darkness with darkness. Only light can do that. And let me tell you something before I go. That morality, it comes with a price. I fought in Gaza, as Sam told you, in not just this war, but also 10 years back in 2014, Protective Operation Edge. Now, during a humanitarian ceasefire, Hamas has fired at us an RPG, injured badly 2 soldiers that operated D9. We rescued them under fire. I treated Moshiko Davino. You know the rest, right? Moshiko Davino on 3. 1, 2. Moshiko Davino. My friends, if we have one moral duty from all that we've been through, from all the sacred lives we've lost, is this: keep their legacy by remembering them, by celebrating life as we just have with the songs and with a powerful, keep celebrating life. And of course, to make sure one thing, and I'll tell you this as a grandson to a Holocaust survivor, to make sure one thing: never again! Never again! My brothers and sisters, it is time to make peace possible. If we wish not to have another war in 10 years, we must do something new under the sun. Step 1, get our hostages back. Step 2, finish the job with the head of the octopus Iran, even if it spits some inks when it's afraid, even if it makes some empty worded threats. And if I can leave you with anything, let me leave you with this. You are fighters of Israel. You are our voice. Your action matters. Your being here matters. Not only because you influence the decision-making of Israel's greatest ally, United States. Not only because you commemorate the names of our fallen brothers and sisters, but because this reason, when you're praying here, we can hear it in Israel. We can feel it in Israel. May I thank Melissa Chapman for bringing me here, to the rabbi, to Shai Davidai from Colombia for inspiring me to come, for Dr. Andrew for contributing my journey here. Am Israel Chai. Am Israel.
ישראל